one of the things you also write about, so for the land launched ones, they're presumably underground. So the silos, how long does it take to go from like pressing the button to them emerging from underground for launch? And is that part detectable,
Yes.
or it's only the heat?
So what's interesting about the silos, America has 400 silos, right? We've had more. Um, but we have 400 and they're underground and they're called Minutemen, right?
Mhm.
After the Revolutionary War heroes. But the sort of joke in Washington is they're not called Minutemen for nothing because they can launch in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Right? So the president orders the launch of the ICBMs. ICBM stands for Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. He orders the launch and they launch 60 seconds later. And then they take 30 some odd minutes to get to where they're going. The submarines take about 14 or 15 minutes from from the launch command to actually launching. And that has to do, I surmise, with the location of the submarine, its depth. Some of these things are so highly classified, and other details are shockingly available if you look deep enough or if you ask enough questions and you can go from one document to the next and really find these answers.
Not to ask top secret questions, but to what degree do you think the Russians know the locations of the silos in the U.S. and vice versa?
Lex, you and I can find the location of every silo
Oh
right now.
no.
They're all there. And before they were there on Google, they were there in maps because we're a democracy and we make these things known. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what's tricky is that Russia and North Korea rely upon what are called road mobile launchers, right? So Russia has a lot of underground silos. All of the scenario takes you through these different facilities that really do exist.
Mhm.
And they're all sourced with how many weapons they have and their launch procedures and whatnot. But in addition to having underground silos, they have road mobile launchers. And that means you just have one of these giant ICBMs on a 22 axle truck
Mhm.
that can move stealthily around the country so that it can't be targeted by the US Defense Department. We don't have those in America because presumably the average, American isn't going to go for like the ICBM road mobile launcher driving down the street in your town or city. Um, which is why the Defense Department will justify we need the second strike capability, the submarines, right? Because the wonky stuff that is worth looking into if you really dig the book and are like, wait a minute, it's all footnoted where you can learn more about how these systems have changed over time, and why, more than anything, it's very difficult to get out of this catch-22 conundrum that, we need nuclear weapons to keep us safe. That is the real enigma because the other guys have them, right? And the other guys have sort of more sinister ways of using them, or at least that's what the nomenclature out of the Pentagon will always be when anyone tries to say we just need to really think about full disarmament.